Hi, my name is Don Howard. I am a Spanish tutor here at the college, and this is the first of a two-part video on the spelling and pronunciation of Spanish. Um, for those of you who may have some challenges spelling English, the good news is that Spanish is spelled much more phonetically than English is. The rules are a lot less complicated for knowing how to spell a word in Spanish. And after you watch these two videos, it's a two-part video, you should be able to pronounce practically every Spanish word that you see correctly, um, both in terms of getting the vowel and consonant sounds correctly and also knowing where to place the accent, the spoken accent on the word, because that is also indicated by the way the word is written. So let's get started. First of all, understand that foreign languages, perhaps more than any other type of subject matter, require practice in order to master the concepts. And this is because communication, spoken communication, is and written communication is the basic way that we operate in our lives, right? We communicate all the time. It's very, very basic to the way the human brain operates. And in learning a foreign language, you're asking your brain to do something, to make a change at the very, very basic level. And that requires practice in order for those new patterns to be habitualized, right? So practice every day, a little bit of practice every day is so much better than trying to cram just before an exam. It just doesn't work with a foreign language. You'll get frustrated, all right? So first of all, let's talk about the way the vowels are pronounced. There are 5 vowels in Spanish: a, e, I, o, and u. And then y can sometimes be used with a vowel sound e, but it's not common. Usually it's consonant. So you have 5 vowel sounds in Spanish only, and they are represented by the 5 vowels that we are familiar with in the Latin alphabet that we use in English. The a, the first vowel, a, English we call it a. A is pronounced like a short O in English, as in the word hot or body. Ah, very easy. The next vowel, e, is pronounced the same as the short E in English, e, like in bet, right? And so we might say puedo, e. The next one is I, which is pronounced like a long E in English, civil in Spanish, right? E, very easy. The next one is o. So you'll notice that we don't, in Spanish, we don't say o, we say o. It's not a diphthong. So beginning Spanish speakers, beginning Spanish students will say como está, like that, but we don't do that in English, in Spanish rather. We say como, o, like this. And in fact, if you diphthongize that O, you'll give native Spanish speakers trouble in understanding you, because they will hear an oo sound after that O, which is a legitimate pronunciation in Spanish if you spell it o, oo. But if you don't spell it o, oo, you can't pronounce it o, because you'll confuse a Spanish speaker. And then there's the vowel U, which is pronounced like long double O in boot, U, and it's not U, but it's U. Okay. Then, after you learn how to pronounce the vowels, you'll also want to know how to pronounce the consonants. And the consonants we're going to go over in another video, the next video. But they're basically, they're very similar to English, with there's some changes, and I want to take some time in a different video to explain those changes. The next thing that you're going to want to know is how to pronounce, or rather, where to pronounce the accent on the word. Accentuation is important. It can change the meaning of a word, just like it does in English. In English, there's a difference between record and record, for instance. They mean different things. One's a noun and one's a verb. And the same thing happens in Spanish. You can have changes in meaning because of the accent. But the accentuation rules in Spanish are pretty simple, and here they are. Please take notes. The first rule is this. If a word ends in N, an N, S, S, or a vowel, the natural accent on that word is going to be on the next to the last syllable. We count backwards from the end of the word in determining where accentuation is. So next to the last syllable, penultimo, we say in Spanish, right? That rule applies to, I'm guessing, half of the Spanish words, maybe even more, because, of course, all plurals end in S. Vowel endings are very, very common for nouns as indicators of gender, and the N ending is the plural verb ending. So any plural verb ends in an N, plural nouns end in S, and most nouns end in a vowel, and most conjugated verbs end in S or a vowel. So it takes up a big chunk of the vocabulary. The next rule is that if a word ends in any other letter, so it's going to be a consonant, right, that's not N or S, then the accent is on the last syllable. So all Spanish infinitives, for instance, end in ere, right, R, and so they are pronounced naturally with an accent on the last syllable, right? Andar, oír, estar, whatever, right? Venir. And then finally, the last rule is if there is an exception to the first two rules, one of the first two rules, then it has to carry a written accent in order to indicate that there's been an exception made. So, for instance, the Spanish word for tree, árbol, right? Árbol, and you can hear that árbol sounds like English word arbor, like Arbor Day, right? It has to do with planting trees. An arborist is somebody who works in trees, right? Árbol, they come from the same Latin root. But you'll notice that árbol ends in an L and an L, so its natural accent should be on the last syllable. But it's not. It's pronounced árbol, not árbol. And so as a result, we have to put a written accent on the first vowel, árbol. In contrast with abril, right, for April, that word follows the regular rule of the last syllable having the accent because the word ends in an L. Now, it wouldn't do you any good to know which syllable to put your accents if you didn't know how to divide Spanish words into syllables. And so that's the last thing we're going to talk about in this video. And in order to decide that, you have to know a very simple rule about Spanish vowels, and that is that Spanish vowels are divided into two classes, strong vowels and weak vowels. Strong vowels are the round vowels, a, e, o, and the weak vowels are the other two, e and u. And the rule is very simple. If you have two strong vowels together, one after the other, then they form two syllables. So, for instance, caoba, caoba, ao, two syllables. Caoba means mahogany. You would put ka is the first syllable, then o is the second syllable, and then ba is the third syllable. Same with paella, right? Pa-e-ya. Again, the a and the e form two syllables. and you have to divide the word that way. Any other combination of letters forms one syllable, a diphthong. So, for instance, boina. Boina means beret in Castellano, as opposed to kepis, which is in Catalan, beret, right? But boina, oi, o, I, that's one syllable. It's a diphthong because it's a weak vowel and a strong vowel put together. And it doesn't matter what the order of the two is if it's a weak and a strong vowel together, right? Peine, peine, e, that means comb. You have to be very careful in the pronunciation of that word because penne, without the e, means penis. And you probably don't want to mix those two words up. And then and then two weak vowels together also form a diphthong, like buitre, ui, buitre. That means vulture, right? That's one syllable, bui. Or ciudad, city, right? You, ciudad. There are some instances where we want to make the weak vowel strong. We want it to be a separate syllable, and in that case, we simply write an accent over that weak vowel, and it converts that weak vowel into a strong vowel. So, for instance, the verb to hear, oír, is two syllables because we put that accent over the e to make it a strong vowel. And that's it. So there's some minor rules about putting accents on words that we'll discuss in another video, but those are the basic rules, and that's all there is. So if at the end of this video you haven't, you're not sure about it, go back and listen to it again. I'm sure you took notes, so just memorize those rules, and then when you look at a Spanish text, you're going to be able to pronounce all of the words. You may not know what they mean, but you'll at least be able to pronounce it. And when you get ready to write, you'll know when and whether to put accents on your words. It won't be mysterious anymore.